Okay, good afternoon. Today's shir Leila Nishmas Bela Bas Yaakov, Leila Nishmata, and William and Helen, Rachel Bas Yosef, David ben Abraham, Tzvi Dov ben Chaim Pesach, Fred ben Richard, Yitzchak ben Sarah, Devorah Bas Yitzchak, Avram ben Mordechai David, Reuven ben Shmuel, Shoshana Bas Elchanan, Yeshua ben Shmuel, Chana Golda Bas Yisrael, Yaakov ben Fega, Yaakov ben Yitzchak, Mordechai Netzach ben Rivka, Rachel Bas Yosef, Eliezer ben Yaakov, Chaim ben Gedalia, Zalman Leib ben Moshe, Chaim Elio ben Yosef Moshe, Amichai ben Yaakov, Gedalia ben Tzvi, Ruvain, Leila Nishmatam. Today's shir is, was it kosher for Yael Trump to enter a church? May we enter a church just to see what's going on inside? And Yael Trump went into the church. I don't know, her father was being, he became the president of the United States. Was it kosher? May we enter a church just as a tourist to visit? So that's the subject of today's shir. You take a look at the side one, source number 1. May we enter a church? Okay. May we enter a church, which reminds me of a following story, Mikimia. All my stories are true, but some didn't happen yet. These two guys are walking down Manhattan, and they see a big sign in front of St. Patrick's Cathedral on 5th Avenue. Big sign, sale today only. It is Malka. $50,000 will be given to any Jew that converts today to Catholicism. We give him $50,000. Big sale today only. So Yankel and Shmerel are walking down the street, and they see the sign, $50,000, any Jew converts today to become a Catholic. So Yankel says to Shmerel, listen, I'm in debt, I'm in hock up to my neck, can't pay my bills. Sarah. So I'll go in, I'll make believe, and I'll get the money, take the money and run. Who said that? So Yankel says, are you Meshiga? You're going to go into a church to be... But, I'm not really going to convert. It's a bubba mindset. I'm just doing it for the money. Trust me.
You can't convert anyway.
What? So, he says, I can't pay my debts. I got to marry off a daughter. They want to shut off my electricity. I'll take the money. And so he says, well, let me go in. It'll be okay. So Yankel goes in, and Shmerel waits outside, on the steps of the cathedral, big steps there. 1 hour goes by, 2 hours goes by, 4 hours go by. They thought maybe they killed him there. They stuck him on a cross. Who knows what they did to him? 5 hours later, Yankel walks out. So Shmerel says to him, Yankel, what happened to you? Did you get the money? So Yankel says, you Jews are all alike. All you think about is money. Anyway, where was I? So can you go into a church just to get the money? So look at source number 1 on side number 1. Chidusha Ritva, Tractate Avodah Zarah. So according to the source number 1, he says that what it's oseli kones lebeis avodah zarah. You're not allowed to enter a church, right? You're not allowed to, even if you just want to see what's going on over there. You're not allowed to. Source number 1, you're not allowed to. That's the Ritva, one of the great Rishonim. You're not allowed to go, and don't argue with this. That's why I made the source sheets for you. You can look it up yourself. So according to the Ritva, in source number 1, you're not allowed to go in. What about voting in a church on election day? What about that? Voting in a church on election day. Yechiel, can you go in to vote in a church? So we don't know yet. But look at source number 2. See source number 2? On side number 1, the Sefer Hasidim. Yiddish, a true story. Not my stories, but this is a true story. Source number 2. You see that? Kolmer echad hoyechav Yehudi kesef. This Galach, how do you say Galach in English? The priest, he owed money to this Jew. The Yoda HaKomer, source number 2, the priest knew, Shelo Yelech Achrav Lebeis HaTiflot. He knew that the Jew is not going to follow him into what? Church. When the Jew, the loan was overdue. When the Jew came to the priest, Sarah, to collect the debt, where did the priest run to? The church. So the priest went into church, so he knew that the Yid is not going to what? Follow him there. Won't be able to collect the debt. And the Jew didn't want to what? Follow him there. Ish echad holach bebeit avodah zara, v'nischaret shal zakein horas loy malasos. So what happened? So this guy went to ask a shaila to a zakein, what can I do whenever I want to collect my debt from what? From this goyish galach, he always what? Hiding out in the church. Can I go in to collect my debt? You hear this? Amaloi be'eze yom hoya, kach v'kach, b'chol shana, ba'oto yom, titana v'chein asa. You hear? So what happened? So the day, I'll translate. So he went to ask a shaila. So the Rav said, to collect the debt, you can go in there. But on the day that he went in, he told him to fast. You're going into a church, Nebuch, you have no choice because you have to what? Get the money from the galach, otherwise you'll get stiffed for life. But on the day that you go in, make a tainus. A tainus means a fast. Okay? Make a tainus. So, according to the Sefer Hasidim, if you're going in to collect the debt, and you can't get the debt from the galach, from the priest any other way, you can go in, but you should fast that day. Okay? All right. Source number 3. This is from the Rambam, source number Perish HaMishnah, the Rambam, Omamala Helach Sham. So the Rambam says, She'ein matir b'shim panim likones le'ir shesh pa'avodah zara. Okay? So according to the Rambam, you can't enter a church no how, no way. He doesn't say about collecting a debt. He just says you're not allowed to enter a church. You can't enter a church. Not allowed to. What does Shulchan Aruch say about it? Source number 4. You see that, Yehuda? Source number 4? Shulchan Aruch Yeredeya. The last source there on the page. There's a mitzvah to what, Avram? You see that? The last source on page number 1, number 4. There's a mitzvah to l'srachek. How do you say that in English? Thank you. Good thing you're here, Rivka. To distance yourself, dalar amis, 8 feet from an idol. There's a mitzvah when you see an idol to stay at least, hang back at least dalar amis. That's what? 8 feet. Yoshev loy kaitz beragloi b'nei vodis kachavim. Listen to this. Let's say that you have a thorn in your foot. And where did you get the thorn in your foot? In front of the idol. Are you allowed to bend down to remove the thorn in your foot? No. But you're not bending down to the idol, Evelyn. You just want to remove what? Thorn from your foot. Or let's say you dropped your pocketbook full of change and the money is all scattered in front of the Avodah Zarah. Are you allowed to bend down to remove the thorn or to collect your money? No.
More sign.
See that Yehuda underlined that. Morris T. Ayin. Remember him? Morris Ayin? Mibnei Shenire. What does that mean? It appears that even though you're not really bowing down to the Getchka, but people, they don't know that you have a thorn in your foot. They don't know that you lost your coins there. It looks like you're bowing down to the Getchka, even though you're not allowed to do it because it's Morris Ayin. What?
Can't you just turn around and have your back to it when you're picking it?
I mean, stick your tushy to the idol. What? That's Bainish, that's exactly what the Shulchan Aruch says. I'm proud of you, Bainish. Bainish, make my day. Rivki, see, he was mechavan to the Shulchan Aruch. Eliyeshev yifna chorav, he should turn his back to the getchka. I think we used to call it mooning. Remember that? I'm dating myself. We used to call it mooning. No? I'm dating myself. We used to call it mooning.
What if it's pure? That's how you worship people.
1 minute. So the Shulchan Aruch says, Bainish's idea, let him moon the idol. And this way he'll get his what? Coins and take out the boo-boo, the thorn from his foot. Sarah, it says here, right? Okay? So that's exactly what he says. Yifna chorav. Let him turn his behind to the getchka and pick up the coins that way. Okay? Okay, good. Next case. Partzufot amachokosh mayim if what is kachavim. The bottom number 4. It's underlined. Partzufot. What does that mean? Faces that spit water in front of Avodah Zarah. You have those, what are they? Fountains. Fountains that have faces on them that they spit water in front of Avodah Zarah. Are you allowed to drink from that fountain? Lillian, are you allowed to drink from that fountain? You're thirsty. There's no water. You go to Rome and there's this fountain spitting water in front of Avodah Zarah. Can you drink? Lo yeniach piv al piyah miyishteh. You should not put your mouth there and drink. You're not worshiping the idols. You're thirsty. B'pnei shenireh, again Yehuda, Maris ayin, it looks like you're about to kiss the Avodah Zarah. Even though you're not going to kiss the Avodah Zarah, you just want to drink. But again, we're concerned for Morris ayin. How do you say that in English? Appearances. Appearances. Yeah. So look at the bottom line. Hagah, the Ramah, Yeshayim, the Chol, She'eina Osel if name Maris ayin. So whatever is forbidden only because of Maris ayin, it looks like you're kissing the getchka even though you're just drinking the water. Kigon bedin zeh. Im yesh sakana b'davar. Listen to this. If there's a danger that you'll die of thirst, right? Kigon im yemois, you'll die if you won't drink. Turn the page over. Mutter lishtois. Yiddish, because you're not. If your life is in danger, you can't worship Avodah Zarah. But he's not worshiping Avodah Zarah Chava. He just wants to what? Drink. So normally you shouldn't drink. But if you're very thirsty and is afraid that you might die of thirst, so then, since it's only Maris ayin anyway, therefore on side number 2, Yechiel, see it says Mutter lishtot, then you're permitted to what? Drink. Ve'ein b'zeh mishum yoreg v'yavor. And it's not one of the 3 cardinal sins that you have to what? Die for. It's not really Avodah Zarah, it's only Maris ayin. Okay? Interesting.
But it doesn't say use a kli or cup your hands as a kli and put it.
If you don't have a kli, you can even bend over there and drink if you might die of thirst. Otherwise, you shouldn't do it because it looks like you're kissing the Avodah Zarah. Okay? Even with a kli, you can't do it unless you're very thirsty and there's no other water available. Right? Okay. Look at source number 5. Are you allowed to hear church music? Church music is very pretty. Are you allowed to hear church music? I don't know. Source number 5. Evelyn, slide number 2, source number 5. Shulchan Aruch Yeredeya. You have that, Rabbi Yaakov? Asa lishmoa klei shirs awadis kachavim. You're not allowed to listen to church music. Oi, what? I'm dreaming of a white Christmas. Who wrote that? Irving Berlin. He was Jewish, right?
I have a question now about the choir in the great synagogue.
What is why?
It sounds like church.
But it's not church music.
But
But it's not church music. What? What? Rabbi Yaakov, what?
How do you know?
In front of this building.
This building.
This morning at 7 o'clock, you would have heard church bells every Sunday morning.
Church bells is not church music. Church music means they're singing to J.C. Penney. The bells is not a problem. Or l'stakel b'noya b'lis kachavim. You can't have a no from Avodah Zarah music, or you can't stare at Avodah Zarah. If it's a beautiful statue of J.C. Penney, of the Virgin, right? She was no virgin, trust me. But you can't stare at that statue. You're not allowed to have hana from Avodah Zarah. Church bells is not Avodah Zarah. Music from Avodah Zarah means when you're praising J.C. Penney. What?
So
every day what?
On Reshit Bet, the classic station in Israel,
yeah,
they have German liturgical church music with German words every day, and singing cantarios and
to J.C. Penney.
In here in Israel.
Yes, so you're not allowed to listen to it. They don't know, right? Right? You're not allowed to listen to it. Okay? J.C., I mean, Yoshki, I call him J.C. Penney. They went out of business, so did he. Right? J.C. Penney. What? What?
It includes a Christmas tree and Christmas decorations. That's also Avodah Zarah.
That's Avodah Zarah, but that's a pagan symbol, right? So you can't admire it, it says. You can't look at it, you can't admire it. Now look at source number 6. Source number 6. We still don't know whether you can go into a church just to take a peek. What? So we don't know yet. But look at source number 6. You have it, Yehuda. The Shach Yeredeya. B'noy Elili. You're not allowed to stare at a beautiful getchka and have a gnaw from an idol. So the Shach says in source number 6, Perish B'Alilim Atzmam. You can't stare at the Avodah Zarah itself. Shenevdu, where they bow down to the statue. Osel Estakel Behen Riyah. You're not allowed to stare at the actual idol where they worship. Aval, but, you see that? Aval, but. Tzurat. What does tzurat mean? Forms. Shenase lenoi. Forms that were made just for beauty. Velo lavod. They're not made to what? Worship, just for beauty. Mutar, to stare at them. So if the statue is made to bow down, you can't stare at it. But if the statue is made only for beauty, not to worship, it's what? Permitted to stare at it. So we still don't know, Sarah, whether you can go into a church just to take a peek. Was Yael Trump right or not? Source number 7. Yael Trump, she went into church on the day her father... No, her name is Yael. Don't call her by a Goyish name. Her name is Yael.
Some people know her. They know her as a banker. If you read the newspapers, they don't know that Yael is a banker. That's the same thing.
Oh, so I'm telling you that she only wants to go by a Hebrew name. So maybe she...
Why doesn't the media know?
They don't know, but yes.
You don't have to just ask about Ivanka.
Right.
The chief rabbi of England went to church. Certain ceremonies for the British Queen.
Number 7. Who addressed your question, Rabbi Yaakov? Rabbi Yosef, Zechet Tzadik Levracha, in source number 7. You have that? Shalos V'Tshuvas Yabia Omer, Chelik Bet, Yehuda, Yoredeya Simin, Good Aleph. Okay, now we get to Rabbi Yaakov's question. Rabbi Yaakov Shapiro's question. Source number 7. This Rabbi Vadia Yosef writing, Imatzoti lagoy mechayim palaji, b'tshuvas chayim biyad, sheneshal benidon. He was asked, Ma sha'osu eza anoshim Yisrael, certain Jews from Jewish people, shaholchu b'yoyim idam shalagoyim, biyachad im hakonsul. Certain Jews from Israel, they go to the Yoim Idam Shalagoyim. What does that mean? A holiday for the Goyim. They go together with the consul. Lebeis Avodah Zarah Shalhem Kedei Lavoisa, to escort them into their Avodah Zarah church on the day of what? Of their Goyish pagan Yontiv. Minichus L'toich Beis Tifilatam. Hear that? Tifilatam.
To the house of prayer.
To the house of prayer. But Tifla. Play on words, get it? Tifla means, Tifla means doo-doo. Not PC. Not PC, okay? Rav Avad Yosef was not PC in the least. Right? It's a play on words. You have Yehuda based Tiflatam, their house of prayer, but he calls it a house of doo-doo, water closet. You hear that? Im yesh isor bedavar. Is it forbidden just to go in as protocol? You're part of the ambassador of Israel. You go in as protocol. So Rav Yosef says that Chaim Palaji proves from Shas and Poskim that just to go in as a courtesy call, even though you're a council member of the delegation, you're not allowed to go in there. Whatever. Ulam Amad, Orchat Chaim, Hanechlas Abeis Avodah Zarah, Oimer Ashfei Shalom Lechem Gumalchem, Shama Tzakosam, Oimer Zavech Lalahim Yechram. Right? He quotes psukim here that those that sacrifice to pagan gods shall be destroyed. Yetza mimenu, you hear? Omer ashvei echaz v'nepatz. Fortunate is the person that doesn't go in there. Even if he's just making a courtesy call, you shouldn't go in there. Umashma shemutel ikones bebeis avodah zara. What? V'tzorech loymar. Certain poskim say if you're just going to make a courtesy call, you're permitted to go in there. You hear? So if this posek says you're allowed to go in, that must be because it's bekuach nefesh. If you don't go in, it'll be an insult to the church and they'll start a pogrom. Yeah. Not today. 1 minute. Yeah, what?
How about in 2016, 15?
There's no pogroms, right?
That's right.
Hopefully,
So
right?
The chief rabbi went in.
Okay, we're going to deal with it.
That's right.
That's what Rabbi Yaakov mentioned, right?
I disagree.
V'hine yesh ksat mekor l'divra Arachayim Yishalmi, oy b'lifnei botei avodah zara. Yeah, right? Awesome, yeah. V'loshin genai. Ochein lo mitzina mekor l'shar davarav. So Rav Yosef says he doesn't understand how any posek can be matir to go in unless it's what? Pekuach nefesh. He's an oynis pekuach nefesh. And he says over here, yeah. Shos mutter. So what about those people that go in as a courtesy call? Right? So look at source number 8. Now we get to the shaila that Nachum and Rav Yaakov raised. Source number 8, Yehuda. You have that? Ve'ein emet. This certain krach shel romi. What does that mean? Krach shel romi. Krach means a city. What? Krach is a city, but Shilas v'tshuvas from this book of Rome. Shehayid, that he testifies in source number 8. Al Rav Mufla. What does that mean? A very famous rabbi. Mara Cohen Irish Zachlal, Vachuzas Mereu, Shohayaholchim Lekinesiat Hanotzrim, Machore Apargit Bimei Chagam. He testified this great famous rabbi with his colleagues on the day of what? Of the Christian holidays, he would enter the Knessia Hanotzrim. What does that mean? The Christian church, Machore Apargit. What does that mean? Like a back door. He would enter the church b'mei chagam in the day of their festivals. Why? Listen to this. Very strange. Why, Rabbi Yaakov? Litlamet mehem mishkal hamuzika. Yiddish? Shayamim naroyim. He says that in the church on their holidays, the Christians have beautiful melodies. So the great rabbi and his chazan friend, they would sneak behind the door to listen to the melody, and then they would use it on Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur.
Well, that's disgusting.
Why is that disgusting?
Because it is.
One, I don't think so. No. V'hoye mesadim oisam hakolot kiddushin kedusha dora pele. So these rabbis, they figured it's a mitzvah to what? Bring this tumah to Kedusha. If the beautiful melodies, that they sing in the church, he would listen to them, and he would bring it back to Kedusha by using it for the high holiday prayers. Is that okay or not?
No.
What?
What does the Gemara say?
1 minute.
In reverse the other way.
What?
They take ours, and then they go ahead and they use our melodies.
Yes.
That's a no-no.
There's a famous story of the Hasidim tell about the Baal Shem Tov. The Baal Shem Tov would stand on Friday outside of Kelly's bar. He wouldn't go in. So they said, Rabbi, what are you doing outside of Kelly's bar on Friday? He says, when the peasants get drunk, they sing such beautiful melodies. I want to memorize it so Friday night I can sing it for L'chodoidi. The Baal Shem Tov. This is not a church. This is standing outside of Kelly's bar and grill. And they sing such beautiful melodies, so he would listen, and Friday night, Evelyn, he would sing L'chodoidi. What's wrong with that? The purpose of this world is to take the koiches hatuma and what?
Put it holy sparks in it.
Right? And bring it back to Kedusha?
Rabbi Sprecher,
Yes?
I understood that some of the melodies that the church sing come from temple.
That's right.
That's what Yael told me.
That's right. That those beautiful melodies were taken from the Levite singers. Right? We just want to bring it home. Bring it back.
That's due to Kosher sang Kol Nidre to Lord on High, from Lagos around.
Yeah.
He got such flack for it.
Get flack for it?
To what song?
Lord on High.
So let's see. Let's work this out. All right? So no one would say, Nechama, that it's wrong to stand outside of a bar and listen to the music and then bring. No one would say that's wrong. But here he's not dealing with that. He's dealing whether you can go into a church to hear the music to elevate the Tumah to Kedusha by singing it to Jewish prayers. She says, V'hinei hadover kosher loimer. Said Ravad Yosef, he doesn't agree. It's very difficult to say sheyu mutar lishmoya kol zimra shirasav le'avodah zarah. Very difficult how these rabbis found a heter to mamish to go into a church to hear the songs of avodah zarah in order to bring it home to Kedusha. He doesn't understand where the heter comes from.
It's not a heter. Maybe they were scared. They felt they had to go in
Well,
and mingle.
V'chein mevuah ela esabem, v'od sheloi nisoirer al dovrei knisasam lebeis tifalasam she osa gomer. He says he doesn't see how not only to hear, not even to hear anything, you're not allowed to go into a church at all. And these guys are going in to hear church music. He doesn't understand how they got away with this. He said it's Asher Gomor. You see that? Asher Gomor. But we have to find a schus. These were great rabbis. V'al kaponim in nitchach loime schus. What's the schus? Nira she'ein lamdim alocha mepi ma'isa. Vein nezeh medarka hara lazav divrei hashas. According to all the Shas and Poskim, we're forbidden to enter a church for any reason. But how did they do this? He says, "V'asha al kein imna ki im emes hadavar she'eza rabbanim." It's true that certain rabbis holchu lebatet falatam misivas keile. That certain great rabbis did go to church during the pagan Christian holidays. Gorlam zeh mimnei shalayinya heitev bedavar. They didn't really understand that it's wrong. V'chashvu, and they thought, here, this is the punchline. You see that, Yehuda, underline? V'chashvu, and they thought, she'ef shelahate b'zeh, perhaps it's permitted because of what? Darkei shalom. Mipnei darkei shalom, to prevent pogrom or anti-Semitism. Oy shepoilem lachatz, they felt pressure in order to have good relations with the church, right? These Roman rabbis in Italy felt they had to go. And they consider themselves to be anusim. What does that mean, Yehuda, anusim? They're forced, even though nobody put a gun to their head, but they felt that they wouldn't attend the church ceremony, the priests might start a pogrom.
But why did they come in the back door?
What?
Why did they come in the back door and not the front door?
Maybe the priests wouldn't let them go through the front door.
That's the case.
What? I don't know.
That
They
doesn't
didn't
make
want
any
other
sense.
people
If they
to see
didn't
that
want
they
to-
were.
Rav Avadia Yosef says that to go into a church, especially a rabbi, it's a chil Hashem, chas v'sholem. That these rabbis were guilty of making a chil Hashem, asher rabbanim, Rabbi Yaakov, see that your question? Asher rabbanim b'Yisrael, certain rabbis of Israel, or Jewish rabbis, yichnasu l'mkoymes eileh, b'talbushas Hashem shalhem, wearing their rabbinical uniform, garments of the rabbinate of Italy or England. Ki do that, he calls it a chil Hashem, ki ma l'koyin b'sakvaris. What is a koyin doing in a cemetery? Yehuda, yeah, it's an analogy. The rabbi's a kohen. What's he doing in a cemetery? He calls a church a cemetery, not PC, right? Not PC. So why should a rabbi kohen go to a cemetery? What's he doing over there? He doesn't belong there. The Chen Reisi, including other sources, it's strictly forbidden to enter a church under any reason. Even if it's going to cause hatred, and it might lead to what? Anti-Semitism. You can't permit a matter which is smacks of what? Of avodah zarah? Idol worship. What is oy? Oy. Rabbi Yosef writing about these rabbis who went in with their rabbinical cloaks, right? Smiling with the priest in the church there. Oy ledor shekach also beyamav shelahatir ishachomer kozeh. Oy vey to a generation that permitted this hati, how do you say ishachomer? This very severe prohibition, grave prohibition. Ubavadai shetrichem kapara gedola. These rabbis need a great kapara.
But the generation has to suffer.
V'yeshuva v'tshuva. They should return with tshuva. V'nislach lahem, and then God will what? Forgive them for desecrating His name by walking into a church wearing their rabbinic garments. Ki l'chol ha'am b'shgoga. He's being down l'kaf schus Yehuda. Maybe they didn't know any better. They thought if they don't go in, they'll start a pogrom.
They thought it was
Pekuach nefesh. But he says that you're not allowed to do that. Look at source number 9, the punchline. You have it, Yehuda? Source number 9. Zois Torah Sa'olah. Sha'osa lelechas k'nesam. It is forbidden to enter a church. Afilim hoyo b'zeh mipnei darkei shalom. Even if it's what? What is darkei shalom in English, Yehuda?
Keeping the peace.
Keeping the peace. Even for keeping the peace, you're not allowed to enter a church under no reasons. Certainly you're not allowed to go in order to find grace in their eyes, to suck up to them, become friendly with them. And alachas kama v'kama shenoigim b'oisha where they burn incense to avodah zarah, and they daven there, and the rabbis are standing there observing it. It's a terrible, terrible what? Chil Hashem. You're not allowed to do that. Under rabbinic supervision. They're worshiping their getchkes under rabbinic supervision. So he says that it's strictly forbidden. Right? Also, lekonos lebeis avodah zarah under any circumstances. And he's making a kaf schus. Maybe they felt they're an oinus. How do you say that in English? Under pressure, forced. They don't want to have a pogrom started in Rome against the Jews. But today, it's not going to happen. There's no heter today. What?
But this Max did this when he went to the wedding. And he's chief rabbi of England.
He actually went into the church.
The whole thing was the wedding. Next to the
So maybe fax him this paper.
And he wants it to.
Yeah, but he didn't go into a church.
Yes, he did.
Not into a church. He met him in the courtyard there. He didn't go into the church. Yes.
It's not, if it's a church, a Protestant church does not have a cross and a...
Oh, yes, they do.
No.
Oh, yes, crosses, but not with
No idols.
Remind me of a story, Rivka. Can I tell the story?
Please.
Now, all my stories are not
true.
Not true yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
This Jew, Yael, was dying to find out what's going on Sunday in Mass. He's dying of curiosity. What do they do there every Sunday with the wafers and the wine? So he's dying, this little Yidel. So one day he walks in to the church because he wants to know what's going on over there. And the priest is in the middle of a sermon. And he spots this little Yidel in the back. And he's giving a sermon, and behind him is a huge cross with J.C. Penney hanging there. Right? Hanging. And he's giving a real sermon, and he spots this Jew in the back. He stops, he says, "All Jews must leave immediately." So the little Yidel walks up to the altar, and he says to Yael on the cross, "Come, let's get out of here." All Jews must leave immediately. It's a true story. He says, "Come, let's get out of here, Yael."
It's not true.
Right?
It hasn't happened.
All Jews, right? Just hasn't happened yet. Yes?
What if you go into a church,
Right.
no, they're not davening, and you go see the artwork?
You're not allowed. According to Rabbi Yosef, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to go into a church. He says over here, it's a chil Hashem for a Jew to go into a church. It's a chil Hashem. It's a chil Hashem a Jew to go in. Certain rabbis did it. He says they were. Rabbi Yosef said they were wrong. They felt under tremendous pressure, but he says they were wrong.
Because they didn't have churches.
What?
In the Muslim countries,
Right.
there were no churches.
There are no churches.
There are no churches.
How about a mosque?
They have mosques.
A mosque is not a problem.
I know, but
When you go to Bar Samach Pela, where are you davening in? You're davening in a mosque. You know that? You didn't know that.
Sprecher, she has a question.
Reuven Rivlin, we heard on the news, went into a church that was being rededicated, a church that was...
Yeah. So he should hear the shir. Now going in a mosque is not a problem. When you daven in the Morris Pela, where are you davening?
In a mosque.
In a mosque. I remember clear as day. Before 1994, before Baruch Goldstein, I was there. We're davening mincha. 10 minutes away, 10 feet away. Slicha. They're davening.
They don't have idols.
That's right, so it's not a problem. Mosque is not a problem. To enter a mosque is not a problem. The problem is a Christian church which they worship a dead Jew. Instead of worshiping the living God, they worship a dead Jew.
And they made up a story about this dead Jew.
What?
Is the fundamental
There's a
problem
church
what
here.
they're worshiping or what's in the building?
So you must have ESP. The problem is to go into a church and you're in there, you're seeing the idols. That's forbidden.
If it's a church without any idols.
So now you must have ESP. Because Rav Moshe Feinstein, Zechet Tzadik Avracha, an architect asked Rav Moshe Feinstein, you hear this? Ikris Moshe Yeridea, Tov Shin Yud Zayin. How many years ago was that? Tov Shin Yud Zayin.
76.
60 years ago, this architect asked him that his boss gave him an assignment to draw up plans for a church. Is he allowed to do it or not? To draw up plans for a church. So Rav Moshe Feinstein addresses this question, and he says that what? Sarah is right. Ledina mutar. How did you know? You're allowed to draw up plans to build a church if you're an architect. Why? Even if there's no chashash eva, even if it's not going to stir up anti-Semitism, you're allowed to do it. Because he says, listen to this, Af livnoi sabinyan mamish mutar. According to Rashi and the Tosfos and Tur Yeridea, a Jew is even permitted not just to draw up the plans, but he's permitted to what? To build a church. Say what? Chava, you getting this? Okay, Ravad, this is from Moshe Feinstein. Okay, that if it's Parnasa, a Jew is permitted not just to draw up the plans, he can even build the building itself. According to Rashi, the Taz, and the Tur. Why is that? And the Rambam too, also.
Idols in it yet.
Beautiful, you're ahead of me, right? Because just building the building, you're not building the statues. You're just building the building. That's tashmish the tashmish avodah zarah. How do you translate that? Tashmish the tashmish avodah zarah. It's too far removed. You're not building the getchkis. You're permitted to build the building. But what are you not permitted to build? The kippah shamina le'il atzmoi osulivnois. The dome where the statue stands on, that you can't build. The rest of the building of the church you're allowed to build, but only the kippah, the dome where they placed the altar, where they placed the getchka, that's also to build. But the rest of the building is permitted. So if you can build the building, you can certainly draw up the architectural plans. Okay? So one minute he says over here. So therefore it's permitted, even though it's not going to cause anti-Semitism if you refuse to build it or draw up the plans, you're allowed to do it. And he says over here, and certainly if you need it for panasa, if that's your panasa, then you don't have to be machmir, you're permitted to do it. And certainly if the boss says if you don't do this architectural plan, you're going to get fired, then you're certainly permitted to draw up the architectural plans for a church. You're allowed to do it. You're allowed to do it. And then he says over here also, even to draw up the plans for a Reform temple is okay. He compared, Rav Moshe Feinstein, he says it, I'm not making it up. Velasa sirtut binyan Reform tempelin. Reform tempelin. Lekoshim yisur. Vein tzorach lahachmir. So just like you're allowed to draw up plans for a church, and even to build a building before the statues are there, so you're also allowed to draw up plans and build the building of a Reform temple. What's shocking is that this great rabbi compares a Reform temple to what? To a church. But Moshe Feinstein, Zechat Tzaddik Yivracha, the great rabbis were not PC.
What's that?
Politically correct. They tell it like it is, okay?
What if you're a Jewish tour guide? What if you're a Jewish tour guide?
So you're a Jewish tour guide, can you lead in a group into a church?
Probably not.
Can you lead a group? That's your parnasa. What? A non-Jewish group is not a problem, but you have to stand outside. So if you're a Jewish tour guide, you can lead non-Jews into a church.
You could.
Non-Jews.
But you can't go inside.
You can't go in, so you stand by the door.
But they want you to tell them about it.
So you tell them from the outside, what are you looking at?
Give them a piece of paper.
What?
Rabbi
Yeah.
Sprecher.
You can't lead Jews in there, Evelyn. Lifnei iver lo titen michshol. How do you say that in English? Don't put a stumbling block in front of the blind. So you can't lead Jews in there, but non-Jews is not a problem. He can lead in there. But he shouldn't go in, yes?
Rabbi,
Yes?
if we go back for a moment to number 3, the Rambam.
Number 3. Let's go back to number 3 on side number 1.
Yeah, it's 4 lines up.
Right?
It says, Harei zo ha'ir Hashem ein mutar la'avod bo b'chamadat. You cannot intentionally go through a city that has these idols.
Right.
Koshken l'durba, and certainly not to live there.
Not to live in a city that has idols.
Where did the Rambam live?
Well, the Rambam lived in Spain and then he lived in Egypt.
Cordova.
Spain.
He lived in Cordova.
Spain is Catholic country.
No, but then he had to flee to Egypt, didn't he?
See, because they were after him.
Because they were after him.
Muslim
But he
then.
wouldn't
So why was he
It was
there
not
to begin
Catholic.
with?
It wasn't Catholic at that
Where,
time.
not where he lived.
Spain was Muslim.
Yeah.
He lived in Muslim,
Yeah.
It was Muslim at that time?
Yeah.
where he was. Yes.
Yeah, but look what he says further in the same line.
Go ahead.
That it's a punishment. There's nothing you can do about it.
There's a punishment, you nothing to do about it, right?
What's the punishment?
That we have to live among non-Jews that worship Avodah Zarah. That's a punishment.
It's our own fault.
Because the Torah says, "V'vadatem sham elihim ma'aseh yedei adam eitz ve'even." You live among the goyim, And you'll have to worship what they worship. That's part of the punishment. Masi de Adam. What does that mean?
Made by men.
Eitz for Evan.
God's, you know.
Eitz for Evan. So the Barbanel says Eitz is the wooden cross, and Evan is the Kuba. What's it called in Saudi Arabia?
Yeah.
That black meteor stone. So the Torah in Deuteronomy predicted that part of the punishment, the Jews will live among people that worship the Eitz, the wooden cross, and those, the Evan, what's it called in English, Yehuda? That black meteor stone in Saudi Arabia where they circle? The Kaaba.
What is that?
In Saudi Arabia,
Rabbi, is it permissible for a Jew to
But what is Mecca?
that's a Mecca. It's actually a giant meteor. You know that?
city in New Zealand, you should pardon the expression, the name of the city?
It's called Christchurch. So how does
It's a beautiful show.
it have a Chabad there? How could it have a Chabad house in a place called Christchurch? Isn't that crazy? Huh?
Chabad school there.
A Chabad school in Christchurch. But isn't that bizarre?
The eastern cornerstone of the Kaaba.
The Kaaba. That's Evan. It's a black stone, right? What?
When we were involved with Chabad,
Right.
many of the Chabad rabbis would not go into Reform or conservative faith.
Not to go in.
No, not at all.
So now you reminded me of Rav Soloveitchik. You hear this? This is a Shiloh. Rav Soloveitchik was asked. You got to hear this. He had a Talmud of his who lived out in the sticks. Rosh Hashanah is coming. Now he says, I know I'm not allowed to daven in the conservative shul. I know that. But he asked Rav Soloveitchik, can I at least go to the conservative shul to hear shofar? Shofar is minat Torah Rosh Hashanah. I know I can't daven there. But Rabbi Soloveitchik, am I allowed to go to the conservative shul just to hear shofar and then I'll leave? Because shofar is minat Torah. What did Rabbi Soloveitchik say?
He said, yeah.
He said no.
Good for him.
He said no. Better don't hear shofar than to go into a conservative shul while they're davening. Because if you go in there, you're saying that that's Beseder.
Exactly.
And it's not Beseder. So better lose. This is Rav Soloveitchik, not a Haredi Rabbi Yehuda. His Talmidim were shocked because they thought he's modern. This tshuva, you can Google it. Talmidim were shocked. Rabbi, I don't want to go daven there. I know you won't let me go daven there. I don't have no other shul. It's the closest shul. So he says, at least can I go hear shofar there? Rav Soloveitchik, Rav Yitzchak probably knows this better than me. Rav Soloveitchik told him, you can't go hear shofar there. Because outside you can stand, but not to go in. You can stand outside and hear it, but not to go in.
Is shofar blowing kosher?
Why not kosher? If a sinful Jews, we're all sinners.
Who's blowing the shofar?
So we're all sinners. But to go in there, he said, you are saying that service, that's Beseder. You're giving a Kosher stemple. And you can't do that. So he said, stand outside and hear the shofar, but don't go in. But don't go in. This is Rav Soloveitchik, not a Haredi rabbi.
Rabbi Sprecher,
Yes.
when Israel in 1948, when Israel became a state and all the people were coming to Israel to go on tours, every tour took you to churches, mosques, and Jewish places.
Okay.
My husband, Oliver Shalom, was the executive vice president of Hapol HaMizrahi,
And
he got it into his head that why should the religious people have to stay outside? So he came up with a tour where he made it completely Jewish. He made a deal with a travel agent. If you ever have Mizrahi people on the bus, you'll give my tour. Not.
don't take them into churches.
That's right. And
But a mosque is okay.
no, that's right.
A mosque is okay.
And
Yeah.
what happened was one couple came back and said that they were taken into churches on their tour. My husband made me give up being a high school teacher.
Yeah.
He told me to give you principal notice. We'll start a travel agency.
A kosher one.
And we'll only do the Mizrahi.
Okay, a kosher one.
Half of you probably traveled anyway.
And we got a question, Makasha?
Travel.
What? A comment, Rabbi Yaakov, speak up.
Gave up teaching.
Masha, please. Yaakov has a comment. I'm all ears. Go ahead.
No, she finished.
She's finished.
The Gemara, it says the Jew who lives among idol worshippers
Yeah.
becomes an idol worshiper ba'onus. Forcefully, that's the way it is.
Right.
If you live in America
And Christmas is official day off.
and a guy walks into your office and says, Merry Christmas,
What are you going to say?
what do you say?
Happy holiday.
No, they changed it.
There you say, happy holiday.
You can't say Merry
It
Christmas.
used to be, no, they changed it
No, they
back.
brought it back.
You can't, right? You say happy holiday. You can't say Merry Christmas.
Blackstone is a meteorite.
Or you say Xmas. Xmas, you say.
Blackstone is a meteorite. It is a meteorite.
A meteorite. See, I was right. You see that?
Say Merry, say
Now
to
you have to
you.
say Merry Christmas.
Say same to you.
You can't say happy holiday?
Say same to
Not
you.
anymore.
Why?
PC.
It's too PC.
Now you have to definitely say the other.
Season's greetings.
It's only words.
Yeah.
Only words.
You know what, there's one church here in Jerusalem
Yeah.
that doesn't have idols. There's a famous street with a lot of famous old buildings.
A lot of famous idols.
No, old buildings, and there's a church there.
Yeah.
I went on a tour with my Opan, and they said that that's the only
Church that doesn't have any idols.
They don't have idols.
But I'll never forget when I was right in Morsa Machpelah, before 1994, I remember we were davening Mincha 10 feet away. The Muslims were davening. And we got along.
Well, where was this?
This is Morsa Machpelah before Baruch Goldstein. You had the Yidden and the Muslims davening 10 feet apart. So you're davening in a mosque, and the mosque is not a problem. What? Because after Baruch Goldstein, the government made a mechitza, separate davening, separate days. But before that, they daven together. Can't we all get along? Children of Abraham, right? Stays together, right? The Rambam says something incredible, Yael. He says the phrase Allah Akbar, you can't say it in the toilet. The Rambam in Moreh Nevuchim writes that the phrase Allah Akbar, because you know what it means? Ha'el HaGodol HaGibav HaNorah. Ha'el HaGodol HaGibav HaNorah. What does that mean, Yehuda? The great and awesome God. Allah Akbar is a translation. So he says you cannot say it in an unclean place. It's a holy phrase. The Rambam. Allah Akbar. Ha'el HaGodol. Allah is El. Allah is El.
Oh, Muslims are not allowed to say.
Right. Muslims cannot say it in an unclean place, he said.
Can we say it?
Right. You could say, you also can't say it. It's Allah Akbar. Even a Jew can't say it either. It's El HaGodol HaGibav HaNorah. It's a translation of that. What?
Only when they're slaughtering us, they say it.
When they're slaughtering us, okay?
Do you know what Hamdulillah means?
No.
Baruch Hashem.
Hamdulillah means Baruch Hashem.
In what language?
Arabic.
Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Salam alaikum. Right. Thank you very much.